All right, in this video, we'll go over the A+ scalping strategy I use for gold and NQ, known as the Virgin Wick theory. I'll also go over a bunch of frequently asked questions I'm getting a lot in the comments. And then we'll go over an A+ setup that I saw yesterday during New York. So we'll go over the strategy real quick. In a nutshell, it's like many strategies, a break and retest, and then continuation of a key level. And in this instance, the key level we are looking at is what I call virgin wicks. So virgin wicks are any wicks that are untouched. So for example, this one, if you look at it and you draw a line to the right, it doesn't touch anything. So that's a virgin wick. It has not been ran through since it was created. So we look for virgin wicks, so this one here, to be closed through by what I call a Chad candle. And if the Chad candle is bullish, then we then look for longs from that level. So this virgin wick becomes your bullish point of interest. Okay, so we mark that out horizontally. Then in the next hour, after the Chad candle closes, we drop down to the 1 minute time frame, look for price to trade below the point of interest. Then we want to look for an inverse fair value gap. And that would be your confirmation to enter the long. The IFVG, the inverse fair value gap, can be either below the point of interest. So this example, it's what we call a front run entry because it's below the point of interest. Or it can be above. So in the second example, the IFVG is above the point of interest. So that's just a normal entry, whereas this one is a front run. Both are fine. But yeah, that's the strategy in a nutshell. Simple break, retest, continuation, but we're just using virgin wick levels. Yeah, some common questions I was getting is, so I just answered this one. Do you not wait for a close back above the POI? You don't necessarily have to. So you can do a front run entry where as long as there's a POI and you go below it and then you confirm an IFVG, then you are good to enter. This is because, I know in CCT, which is taught by Cramson, when I first learned this method, he said to wait for a close back above the POI. But I did a bunch of testing and I found you can actually front run the entry and it ends up working out. It was actually a higher win rate than waiting for a close back above the POI. So I still take both, but I feel more comfortable when I see a front run entry. So yeah, both are fine. Another question I got was how many contracts? The contract sizing is irrelevant. Let me pull up the document. All right, so this is my trading Bible, which some of you may have seen. It's just got everything, it's pretty much the whole strategy in one document. Assets, sessions, strategy, examples, take profit, stop loss. And here I've got contract size will change depending on how far the stop loss is so I can maintain the same dollar risk. So right now I'm risking around $200 each trade. So the contract size will change because sometimes if you have a really wide stop loss, then you'll have to use less contracts so you can still maintain that same dollar risk. But if you have a really small stop loss, then you can have more contracts because hitting your stop loss will still mean you lose $200. So that's how I go about contract size. But yeah, I would recommend looking at this document. I'll link it below somewhere. It pretty much answers every frequently asked question that I get. Like for example, here I say, IFVG can be on either side of POI. So you don't have to wait for a close back above the POI. It can be on either side. Another question was, does the 1 minute candle have to close below the POI? It can be a wick or a close. That's something I figured out in my testing. Wicking is also fine. And that is, again, answered here in this document. So yeah, check out this document if you have time. Yeah, so another common question was Asia session. Yes, I still look at the Asia session. So if we go here, my trading hours are listed here. So yeah, Asia session is 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. for me. That's New York time zone. Just from my testing, these are the hours that I found work where the model plays out. But yeah, the last couple of days, I didn't see anything during Asia. Well, Monday, I didn't see anything. Tuesday was pre-CPI, so I didn't take any trades. I didn't look at anything during both Asia or London. But yeah, I'm still looking at all these sessions. These are the times that I've found successful for this model. I got rid of 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. because those trades just weren't working out. What else do we have? Indicators. People keep asking where to find the indicators. I will always link them below in the description box. You can just click on the link, open it up, and then add to your chart. And lastly, why not go for more than 2 hours? Well, that will perfectly segue into yesterday's trade example, where if you went for more than 2 hours, you would have copped a loss. It's also just a mentality. I would rather just stack up base hits instead of trying to get greedy and go for more. I would rather get a high win rate and have smaller wins, but just continue to consistently stack up wins, base hits, base hits, base hits. So we'll go into the example now. So here's what I mean. This was almost exactly 2 hours, and if you went for more, you would have lost it. So yeah, this was yesterday during New York, and it's what I consider to be pretty much A+. So let's go to just before the 9 a.m. candle. Drop down to the 1 minute time frame. Okay, where are we? So 8 a.m. candle closes, massive close, partly due to CPI, which is also why we don't trade before CPI, because a lot of shit can happen. But anyways, so this is a Virgin wick that got closed through, this is a Virgin wick that got closed through, and this is a Virgin wick that got closed through. And that was it. So we will mark these off as our bullish points of interest. But as you know, I don't need to do this anymore because I use indicators, but just for education's sake, I will manually mark them off. Then from 9 a.m., you can drop down to the 1 minute time frame. Look for the POIs to get engaged and then enter a long. So candle opens 9 a.m., not much happens, just chopping around. Haven't engaged any POI yet. Boom, first POI gets engaged. No inversion yet. Nothing yet, nothing yet. Boom, okay. So, as you can see by our inverse fair value gap indicator, we have a confirmed IFVG. So here's where you would enter your long. And like I said in the Notion doc, so some people might say, oh, you're like your stop loss is subjective, but let me pull it up. So here I say, stop loss is just on the other side of the IFVG or the entry candle, whichever is further / safer. So if we go back to the chart, the stop loss, you would put it just on the other side of the IFVG or the entry candle, which is this one, whichever is safer. In this case, it's the entry candle, so you can put it just below there. And then 2 hour maximum, so something like that. Bang. And then if we let that play out, boom, 2 hour. You even have a tiny bit more room, so you could have been a bit more lenient with the stop loss, and you still would have hit it. But yeah, that's A+ for me. Nice trade into the POIs and then IFVG and into this draw on liquidity. Oh shit. So we don't actually end up taking this draw on liquidity, but still it's a target to aim for. And you still would have taken your 2R there if you took that. So that's why we have strict SL and TP rules, and we don't get greedy, so we can stack up these base hits. Personally, so I actually did enter this on this candle on my 50K Flex account, and I thought I had my trade copier running. So I entered here, and then I realized a while after that my trade copier wasn't set up properly. So then I exited the trade at pretty much break even, and I was going to look to re-enter. But by the time I finished setting up the trade copier again properly, price was already like here. And at that point, I didn't want to chase it anymore. And then I saw that it went ahead and hit 2R. So I already considered that hour done. So technically I would have taken this, and I did, but I got out because of trade copy issues. So I'm not counting this in my 20 A+ trade challenge, but this would have been a banger if I took it. But yeah, now I've got the trade copy set up. This shouldn't happen again, but 10 out of 10 times I would have taken this. So I know some people took this. I've asked on Twitter. One of my followers took this one, took some profits out of the top, and then went break even. So yeah, that's an A+ trade for my strategy. We'll see what today brings us. Thanks for watching. See you next time. All right, I'm back. If you realized during this video, I had an alert, and this was actually the alert. So it looks like there was a successful trade on gold during Asia right now. But of course I missed it because I was literally just filming that video. But here's another A+ trade that just happened. So let's go back to the start of the hour. Where are we? Yeah, okay. So let's get rid of the indicators for education's sake. All right, so this 9 p.m. candle closes over this Virgin wick, creating our bullish point of interest. So from 10 p.m., drop down to the 1 minute time frame. I don't know why it's done that. Let's go back here. Okay. So then from 10 p.m., you can look for the POI to get engaged. And here is your draw on liquidity. Okay, POI gets engaged. No IFVG yet. Boom. There is your confirmed IFVG. Nice strong one, very thick and huge liquidity sweep. So you would enter there. Yeah, targeting that draw on liquidity, 1.8R. I mean, you could even put your stop just below the IFVG. There, 2R, just like that. Bang. But yeah, I just missed that because I was literally filming this video, but that's all right. Hopefully some of you guys caught it. And that's okay. I'll catch you the next one. See you next time.